Welcome back to 4.5, where we're going to be looking at solving additional quadratics, still looking at the zeros of functions and parabolas in particular, where this is considered the point where if we have a parabola, let's say it looks like this, we have our y-axis, it looks nice, it looks straight, looks prim and proper. We have our x-axis, a little bit lazier, going from left to right, lying down. The zeros in particular would be these 2 points seen here that intersect the x-axis. So we'll see with this, we're going to have a hybrid between going on the calculator and for some of these solving on the paper. So we'll see what we can do with this. So we're being asked to find the solutions for this quadratic seen here, 5x squared minus 8 equals 18x. So notice that we're kind of stuck in this case, but why exactly are we stuck? What do you think? Why are we stuck here? Is it because maybe it's Monday, maybe because it's Tuesday, maybe because we have to pay for something we didn't want to pay for this week? I don't know, it could be a variety of things. But the main thing that sticks out to me is that, as mentioned in the previous video, I think I mentioned this, all three terms should be on the same side. And do we have that here? Hopefully you're saying no, but what can we move around? Hopefully you're saying the 18x. So if we deduct 18x from both sides, notice that we can't combine this with any like terms, so we're really just stuck with as is 5x squared minus 18x minus 8, and this equals 0. And so how we'll be going about this, this might be something we could factor, but we might not, but we'll take a little different approach. We'll take a walk on the wild side for this one using the graphing calculator. So I know that I can graph this out if I hit y equals. So notice I'm hitting y equals, sets me up where I need to go to graph. I'm then graphing out 5x, and I'm squaring that, and then deducting 18x. Of course, I'm going to delete that. This x part is going to really be the end of me, I promise. So that's very frustrating on here. So if we hit second and we hit the table, we might get lucky. We might see one of the zeros. Well, all right, that's nice. We know that if x is 4, that's definitely one of our zeros, and I even marked it on my paper. So notice that I definitely have 1 just based off of the table. We'll go back and see if we can find another one, or if there's only one. If so, we see that from the pattern, this is probably going to continue going up and up and up and up and up. And we might only have 1. So let's double check this. So let's hit graph. So we see that we have 2. We see that definitely here is where x is 4. If we see 1 over on the left-hand side, but this is a little off. So what's nice is that we can still get a hold of this 0. If we hit second and then calculate, if we scroll down to 0 and hit enter, this will ask us to pretty much go between the left point and the right point of where we think this 0 is. So if we hit enter, and then we move this over to the right-hand side a little bit, notice that we have 2 vertical barriers here where it's kind of making us really pinpoint and analyze where we think the 0 is versus just giving us the answer. We can look closely at this and see that one of the additional zeros is where x is equal to negative 0.4. What's nice again is that if you're not convinced, you can zoom in just on this point. Occasionally you have to modify the cursor so that it's a little bit closer to where the actual 0 is, but hopefully you trust me just based off of the procedure that we just saw. And we see that this is pretty close to being negative 0.4, so we're good with that. I'll give you a moment for the next one. So notice that if you try to factor this, it's totally an option. You can do that. you might start to think that you can do x plus 6 with x minus 4, and this equals 0, which is totally fair game, but I think the main idea you should try to go with is trying to graph this on the calculator. So we know that from factoring, x would be equal to -6 or 4. And we'll even show the visual on this. So again, from the calculator, if I hit y equals, I clear out everything. I know that I'm being asked to graph x, and we're squaring that. We're then adding on 2x. We're then deducting 24. If we graph this, not quite where we wanted it to be, because again, our y-intercept is -24. But if we hit second table, we can hopefully see pretty quickly we have when x is 4, that's a 0. And also when x is -6, that's a 0. So with the calculator, we can do this. We'll soon see in the next video that we'll have some wordy examples where we might have to analyze exactly what's being asked based off of a certain context in the real world, because it's still out there.